everybody, and welcome to another episode of Wrassle Graps. Today is a little bit different. Well, first off, my name is Chris from Wrassle Graps, and like I was saying, today's a little bit different. Just because Vincent, of course, is dealing with some stuff. He's nothing serious, but he's taking time to go deal with that. And originally, we were going to be on a break while he was doing that. But what ended up happening was I ended up watching Dynamite last night, and I thought to myself, today, a couple minutes ago, I watched Dynamite. Didn't really take notes, but I did see it. I know kind of what happened. And I figured why not do a quick little solo review for you guys. That way we have something to throw up on the channel. Let's get some content. It's a win-win for both of us. So another thing before we start with this review real quick, um, because I didn't take notes, I don't really remember a lot of the segments that happened in between the matches. I remember a couple here and there, but if I miss out on anything, I do apologize in advance for that. Uh, and an interest actually of making sure I don't forget any more of the segments that happen. I'm just gonna go over the general things I do remember. So the first segment I remember happening was there was a House of Black promo. Malachi Black, very cool. Just gonna give quick thoughts on each of the ones I remember. Um, you have the Blackpool Combat Club. They're setting up a match with the Gun Club that's going on for Rampage this Friday. It should be a fun one. The promo is very cool. Like that one. What else do I remember here? There's an American Top Team thing. It's whatever. Our thoughts on that whole thing. Um, and yeah, I think that's all the segments I remember. Uh, no, there was a Thunder Rosa one also. That was a match with Nyla Rose come Saturday. When they're backstage, Thunder Rosa had a quick interview. It's interrupted by Nyla and Vicky. They had a cake to celebrate the fact that it would be her shortest title reign. Thunder Rosa, of course, the shortest title reign. Thunder Rosa, of course, takes exception to this. Throws the cake at Nyla. She's then attacked. And that's basically all there is to set that up. But yeah, those are the segments I remember. Of course, there's the Kingston uh, Kingston Proud and Powerful segment. It sets up the match that happens later on in the show. But I figured we'll save that one for when we get there. But for the meantime, let's kick it off from the top with the matches. It kicks off with the dream match that was announced earlier on the day there. CM Punk versus Penta Oscuro, which, in case you don't know this, Penta, Pentagon Jr. And yeah, it's everything you would imagine to be. It was a great match. Punk and Penta went at it for about 15 minutes. And in the end, CM Punk ends up winning with GTS, sets him up for the rankings. And they set up more the storyline of him going for the title. So that'll be a future feud for Hangman, which I think could be pretty interesting. I don't know if they're gonna change any heel face alignments there, but just, sometimes face versus face stuff doesn't work out super well. But who knows? Maybe they change, maybe they don't. But regardless, it's CM Punk. I think he has the power to make that work. Moving forward, we get to Jurassic Express versus Red Dragon. And yeah, it's for the AEW World Tag Team Championships, of course. This is Tag Team Week in AEW, or not Tag Team Week, excuse me, Championship Week. It's that. And it starts off with this tag match here. I, of course, was pulling for Red Dragon. I love Kyle and Bobby. One of my favorite tag teams currently. And haven't been the biggest fan of Jurassic Express recently. Haven't really been there for their title reign. It's been pretty bland to me personally. I feel like it's more power to you. I personally just haven't been there. A big fan of what they've been doing recently. But of course, it's because like the characters really does not make I didn't enjoy the match overall. Of course, ball guys in this match, fantastic talents, put on a great little match for the tag titles, and sadly, Jurassic Express win in the end. And I was kind of, like I said, pulling for Red Dragon. It is what it is. But the interesting thing is after this, FTR get involved after the fact and sets up a little thing with Red Dragon. They might have also set up, I think, with Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy, but something came up and I ended up missing a few minutes on that segment. So hopefully I didn't miss anything there, but if I did, it is my bad. Next up here, we have Shawn Dean going up against MJF, where Shawn Dean possesses one win over MJF. But after this match, of course, that will change because Wardlow gets involved pretty quickly. He comes in, attacks security, as always, those poor security guards. Just doing their jobs, getting jumped by Wardlow. Poor guys. Comes in. Actually, yeah, so he does jump security guards. That did happen. Don't show it really. They show a bunch of laid out security guards. And then it's implied that he's in the building. MJF doesn't know where he is. He exits the ring. And all of a sudden, one of the security guys in the crowd pulls off a mask and a hat. It's revealed that it was Wardlow the whole time. Who then, chases MJF around, but actual security comes out, stops him. But because Wardlow's out there and MJF is scared of Wardlow, what ends up happening is MJF gets counted out, and Shawn Dean picks up his second victory over MJF. Had a neat little segment in there too, where MJF tried to convince the referee not to count to 10, say what triple whatever Tony Khan was paying him, but of course, referee, I forget who it was, might have been Bryce Remsburg, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Being a face referee does not take the bribe. Get into a little argument, but nothing serious happens. Uh, while they're arguing, though, Wardlow is on the screen, says that he will not stop coming after MJF until he gets his revenge against him and the rest of the Pinnacle. Later on, I'm going to talk about this feud further and how it progresses throughout the show so I don't forget later. MJF cuts a promo and says, because I do own your contract or whatever, I'm just going to start putting you in matches against people. I'm not going to keep paying this in home. You're going to, work. So what happens is he says, your first opponent next week will be the Butcher. And then the Butcher comes in. And he has a weird little entrance. I don't know what that little thing was where he screamed at the camera. I don't remember him doing that. That's a new thing to me. But hey, if I missed something previously, it's my bad. So next up, the Jericho Appreciation Society and Eddie Kingston, Santana, and Ortiz continue their rivalry. They showed earlier on the day. They showed this after the Punk match. It was uh, Chris Jericho, Jake Hager, and Daniel Garcia arriving at the airport. But Eddie Kingston, Santana, and Ortiz were there too. They yell something at the Jericho Appreciation Society, and it's revealed that they jumped 2.0. I know they have names now. I just, for the life of me, cannot remember. But we get into the match, and it's a pretty solid 10-minute tag match. It's actually pretty enjoyable, in all honesty. They had a bunch of, it was pretty fast paced, more fast paced than I thought it'd be. But it felt like a rivalry tag match, and I appreciated that greatly. It's a 10-minute match. Jericho cheats to win with Floyd, the baseball bat. Eddie Kingston takes a pin, and after the match, Kingston, Santana, and Ortiz get jumped. And that's how that little segment ends there. So, of course, the feud's going to continue. We all kind of knew this. But I think this was a neat little progression in the feud. Next up here, we get to Marina Shafir making her debut against Sky Blue. Of course, you have Jade Cargill, the woman that Marina will be challenging for the TBS Championship come Saturday at Battle of the Belts. I'm pretty sure it's there. I think that's one that's happening. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I'm pretty sure it's one that's happening. Marina Shafir, of course, makes her debuts. Unfortunately for her, the crowd, not really knowing her that much, does not cheer. It's very dead silent in the arena, which is pretty unfortunate. But what do you expect with the talent that people haven't really seen a lot of? The most people probably remember from Marina Shafir interviewee was being Shayna Baszler's uh, henchman along with Jessamine Duke back then in NXT. But yeah, I mean, she's in AEW now, had some promising stuff. It was a pretty short match there. But in the 2 minutes that the match did go on, it was pretty promising. So looking forward to seeing that match on Saturday. Next up here, You get to Ricky Starks and Powerhouse Hobbs going up against Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland. And this was a very cool little 10-minute tag match. Both teams had fast-paced action, back and forth. And honestly, this could have been anyone's match here, but uh, Taz comes out, ends up distracting Keith Lee. So Powerhouse Hobbs hits a spine buster on Keith Lee after the fact and picks up the win. So, they're in New Orleans, of course. Ricky Starks ends up getting the win after via Powerhouse Hobbs picking up the victory for him. And it's a nice little moment for him. And, Team Taz gets a win. Not going to complain about that. I'm actually pretty curious to see if this feud will continue. I'm assuming it probably will, just for the simple fact that Keith was kind of screwed out of the match. But we'll see where that goes. Speaking of Team Taz, there was also a segment on this show where it's revealed that Hook will have his first ever AEW Dynamite match next week against one of QT Marshall's guys. They have a little promo thing backstage where QT Marshall tries to taunt Hook. Of course, Hook doesn't talk, but QT Marshall goes away after that. Danhausen shows up in this weird little suit thing that he's wearing, this weird little onesie. Tries to curse Hook. Of course, it does not work. And that's how that segment ends. I'm really enjoying this little back and forth between Hook and Danhausen. It's a lot of fun. So next up, the main event, the match we are all here for. Samoa Joe taking on Minoru Suzuki for the ROH World Heavyweight Championship. And it was just as physical as you'd hope to be. It starts off, and the first 3 minutes alone is just 3 minutes of back and forth chops, forearm strikes. Fantastic. This match is, if you picture Samoa Joe versus Minoru Suzuki in your head and you haven't seen this match, it's exactly what you could want from this match. So if you haven't seen it, please go out of your way. Check this match out. Check out this entire show. Really, it's pretty enjoyable. Maybe though, stop watching as soon as this match ends. Just throwing it out there because during the match it showed that Sanjay Dutt, along with Jay Lethal, are in the crowd. Samoa Joe wins the belt from Minoru Suzuki after a very cool match. And uh, both Dutt and Lethal get out of the crowd, flip off Joe, the lights come out, and then they have this, I don't know why it's called AW, it's either a return or a debut or something crazy like that. And unfortunately, the lights go off, and this is very underwhelming debut. It's um, something Singh, I think, if I'm not mistaken. It's something like that, but he's this former NBA guy, and basically he's like Wish.com, Great Khali. Basically, it's he's just boot. He does everything Great Khali does, but somehow worse. And it's pretty uninteresting. It's really uninteresting. It's not really what I would hope for Samoa Joe to be doing. It's not the direction I think anyone wanted that to go. I don't see why it couldn't have just been Joe going up against the pairing of Dutt and Lethal. And I get, of course, AW has the whole India market they're going after. But I feel like there's other places you could have inserted this big dude in that could have worked a little bit better. And unfortunately, after the Samoa Joe Minoru Suzuki match, it kind of it kind of overshadows the match because you're just thinking about this underwhelming thing they did at the end, and it's kind of the show kind of ends with a dud, and it kind of messes you up because you're like, this whole show was really enjoyable, but then they end it like that, and it's not how I would have done it personally. It's not how anyone would have done it, I'm sure. But if you are gonna watch this show, I recommend, like I just said, just watch it all the way until Samoa Joe wins. Just turn off the TV, and then I think this will be a perfect show for you. But because I saw what happened at the end, I feel like giving it a thumbs up is the show overall. Giving it a thumbs up is the fair thing to do here because it's not a perfect show, but overall, it was really good. But just that one thing at the end soured me on the show a little bit. But overall, like I said, please do give this show a watch. And let me know what you thought in the comments down below. Tell me, did you like the ending? Did you think it was dumb? Are you somewhere in the middle? I would really like to know. I've been reading people's thoughts on it all day to get the curiosity, and I like to see what you guys think too. So now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to attempt to do the plugs, not as fast as Vincent usually does it, because I don't usually do these things, and I will screw it up and stutter over the entire thing. Will not be able to understand it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sit here and I'll tell you guys, please, if you like this video, like, comment, subscribe. It really helps us out. We'd appreciate it. Listening to the podcast version, everything to be helpful. Just give us a 5-star rating if you can. That'd be cool. And, if you're not, please do follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. We're on pretty much all the platforms currently. And before I go, I just want to say thank you for listening, and we'll talk to you guys soon.